Welcome to Biz Talk, everyone. I am your host, Rachel Weaver, and I am excited to have with me today Noura Almasri. Noura is an enrolled agent with the IRS, the founder and CEO of Nourasbooks, and an international best-selling author. She has a master's degree in business information technology from DePaul University, and she brings over 20 years of accounting experience to her work in managing and growing nonprofit organizations. Noura, it is such an honor and pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Rachel. It's my pleasure always to be with you.
Aw, I am excited. I don't know if that's the word for it. No. We're going to talk today about tax season and key aspects for what tax season means, especially when it comes to deadlines, right? All of us hate facing those deadlines, but it's really important for us to be aware. So what are the important tax deadlines that businesses need to be aware of during tax season?
So yeah, the deadlines, we already passed 2 deadlines for businesses. One of them was the estimated tax returns. That is actually for the 4th quarter of last year that already passed on January 16. And then we just passed another one yesterday was the deadline to issue 1099s for your contractors and W-2s for your employees. So if you did not do that yet, you still can do them. You cannot, you might get penalized for that, but you can still do that. So that's the deadline for January. Now, for filing your returns as a business, it's different from formation to another formation. So if you are S Corp or partnership, or multi-member LLC, then your deadline to file your tax return is March 15. Now, if you are single member LLC, if you are a C corporation, and also for your individual return, all tax filing due on April 15. Now, tax payments also due on April 15, even if you are filing for an extension. So you want to be aware of that. Extension doesn't mean extension to pay, it is extension to file. So those are the most important upcoming deadline for you as a business owner. If you have a nonprofit on a calendar year, your deadline on March 15.
Wow, really good information for us to know. I know for me, for sure. So I have a question that I know a lot of business owners, especially new entrepreneurs, and some that are established, they had a tough year last year. And so a lot of them have been talking to me about how all the money they had going out, they took a significant loss. And they're pretty new to being a business owner. So are there big penalties for them if they are not bringing in a profit to their business if they're not on time with their filing?
So they have to be on time for their filing. So this is what business owners should change. Like the mindset is everything. When you start a business, you really have to bring what's gonna make your business go. So you need to have sales, you need to have accounting, you need to have marketing. So all these 3 components must happen to your business to be a business. So if you actually neglect any of these, marketing, sales, or accounting, you're not going to have a successful business and you will be forced out of the business game sooner or later. So it's not a luxury to have a bookkeeping. It's not a luxury to file your taxes, because let's say you are in a partnership or in S Corp. There is a penalty for every month for each partner if you do not file on time. So you want to make sure you file on time. And let's say, and that's a monthly payment, monthly penalty. It's not, so if you have 2 partners, now the multiply it by 2. If you have 3, then multiply it by 3, and that goes on. So you want to make sure you file. If you're not ready to file, you can do an extension. So make sure you file an extension, but you want to be aware that it's an extension to file. So if you do not make a payment, if you think you have to pay tax return, then you're going to be penalized. You're going to actually get interest penalized. So you want to make sure to still talk to your accountant, still figure out if you might owe or not. Because yeah, and some business return, if you're doing the March 15 deadlines, you're not going to pay any taxes with that, but that's gonna give you K1, and then that you're gonna take it and include it with your personal return, where you pay the taxes if you owe, or get a refund if you don't. So it's really important to actually be aware of your situation, and if you are going to get money back, if this is the expectation based on consulting with your tax professional, then okay, you're fine. Just do the extension and wait until you actually have time. But if you're struggling financially, just get your money, just file. Just file on time and get your money. And you must do your bookkeeping in order to ensure that you do get all your deduction. Because when you do your finances, when you do your accounting, your bookkeeping, taxes, you're actually more informed. You can take an informed decision, make an informed decision to make sure you are successful financially, so your business will do well. Yeah, not all of businesses did not do well last year. A lot of people did very well last year because they are aware of their financials. They're aware of, they're doing their marketing, their sales, they're on top of the game. They're taking their business seriously. And we might sometimes feel like we're taking our businesses seriously, but we would be all over the place. We're not focusing on the right thing. We're focusing on the wrong thing. So we need to set the priority right, so we don't face these problems again. And make sure you do an extension again if you if you cannot still file on time.
Very good information. I could not agree more on the mindset is really everything when starting a business. I say this all the time, especially when I hear of people telling me some of their challenges, but yet they haven't done marketing, or they haven't created a good sales funnel or a sales team. So you have no business if you don't have those things. And a lot of people don't like to face that, but that's the reality of the situation. So very, very good information for people to understand and know, because regardless of your situation, the IRS doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of people, for whatever reason, think that they can have this free pass because they didn't bring money in, but they just don't care. Just like your bank doesn't care if you brought money in when it's time to pay your mortgage.
Exactly.
Yes, really great information. So can you tell us, um, there's been so many changes in tax laws, so many changes, and we talked about some of these recently. Are there any recent changes in tax laws that businesses should be aware of for the current tax year? And how can we stay updated on tax code changes and things that are going to impact us as business owners?
So not really a lot of, there's a lot of changes, but like it's based on the case. So like it's going to be different for every business. Of course, the most of these tax returns for a lot of small business owners, it's actually passed through to their individual tax return. So this is when you see the most changes, like on the standard deduction, how you take those deductions. And a lot of people, if they purchase a house, for example, with this interest rate, high interest rate and everything, it might make sense for them to itemize, not take the standard deduction. It depends, so it depends from case to case, but because the interest rates is very high, and depends on the taxes and everything and their other expenses, sometimes, like even if you did not do this itemization before, you might take advantage of the itemization. There's also clean energy changes, and we can talk about this later more. But this is actually it's going, there's some changes, like, and you can actually somehow transfer your deduction to the person who's selling you this. There's a lot of details. I actually did not read through this like a lot. It's just like it's very recent. So if you are thinking of that, like purchasing a car, like clean energy, or home, or using the clean energy, it's actually makes sense to actually go and talk to your accountant and see what does that have for you. Because even though like we might not have it on top of our mind, but when we have a client, we actually go and like get all the details that applies for the client. Because all these tax publication, it's like hundreds of pages, like or tens of pages at least. So it's usually what we do is research for every client situation. This is why every client is unique. So you as a business owner have to actually be in touch with your accountant. You have to have this as a monthly subscription, or you have to add tax planning, something like you always have to communicate with your tax accountant in order to make informed decision. And now, for example, for this year, it make more sense for you now for 2024 to take advantage of all the changes, to actually correct any mistake that you were not aware for last year. Work now with a tax accountant. Make sure you are in a monthly engagement with them to make sure actually you are updated. So they will look at your profile, especially if you were doing the bookkeeping with them, or have a sort of CFO services, including tax planning. Then they will have more of your situation. They can give you more advisory so to your tax status, because everyone is unique. Your personal situation is gonna affect how much you are taking advantage from your from what's out there in in the business. And because also that's gonna prevent you from, actually protect you from falling victim for those people who calls you saying, okay, we can get you approved for this law or whatever. Because last year what happened, a lot of people were calling, even tax professionals, where they were calling us as tax professionals and saying, hey, we can get you more clients approved for ERC credits, and that was a fraud. And unfortunately, a lot of people actually fall into that. Hopefully, I don't know about tax professionals, but if you are informed tax professionals, I'm sure you did not fall for that. But not all tax professionals are very diverse with the tax law. So be
Wow.
careful. If you're working with tax accountant, you will protect yourself from this.
Very good information to understand. Wow. Very eye-opening as well. The good thing for everyone out there listening, if you haven't faced your fears of the tax laws, it's not too late. But the sooner you do it, the better. The more you delay, the more penalty you're going to have to pay. So stop delaying. Contact a professional like contact a professional as soon as possible, like Nora, so that you can set yourself up for success and stop delaying. Nora, thank you so much. Can you tell the audience where to find you?
Sure. So they can actually go to my website, nourasbooks.com/go to contact us, or just do /contact, and then you'll be able to book a Zoom call with me, or someone from my team will be able to talk to you and then get you started with any service that you would like to be engaged with.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor and pleasure to have you on the show. We look forward to having you back again very soon, Nora. And with that, we will be right back after this commercial break.